You ever been in a place where you didn't have enough to eat?
No. Well,
I haven't been there either, but I was once witness to one of the greatest famines of the 20th century in Ethiopia. I'll tell you that story in a minute. My name's John Graham. I'm the badass granddad you didn't know you had, and I'm here to tell you another story of my adventures, and I hope in these stories to give you some tips on taking risks and living a life with meaning, courage, and passion. Anyway, a while back, I was traveling by bus and hitchhike around the world, and I happened to find myself on the high Ethiopian plateau, 10,000 feet high, but it was a jungle with colorful birds and cattle with weird curving horns, rushing rivers, and it was dangerous moving through that area because there were no bridges, and the buses had to ford these rushing rivers. And if the bus driver miscalculated, the bus could be knocked off and thrown down the river. And you could just look down river and see the carcasses of buses that didn't make it. I didn't dare get out of the bus in these villages because I'd be mobbed for a crust of bread or a coin. It was awful. I finally got down off the plateau and I began writing newspaper stories, trying to bring the world's attention to what I had seen. But most Americans didn't even know where Ethiopia was.
What?
And they couldn't believe the depth of the misery and despair that I was describing. Finally, aid did arrive months later, and it helped. Why am I telling you this story? Well, you may not be in a place like the Ethiopian famine, but you're sure to be in situations of real strife and maybe disasters, perhaps like the natural disasters like the floods in Texas, or the upcoming human-made disasters like kicking tens of millions of people off the healthcare rules in the United States, or abolishing food stamps and all the other madness going on in Washington, D.C. these days. So what do? Well, you take action, you get facts, you begin to see what part of the problem you can make a difference on. You hammer your local officials, you write on social media, you join demonstrations, you do something. You don't keep your heads in the sand, you act. You do that, you act. And you'll feel better for it. You'll help solve the problem. What can one person do? Well, one person and 10 people and tens of thousands of people and tens of millions of people can join together and create momentum for change. Tyranny demands your complacency. Justice demands your courage. I invite your comments.